Why did fencing in versus fencing out common law apply to trespassing animals? Imagine a farm where animals roam freely, and disputes over who is responsible for fences become a matter of law. That's where the ideas of fencing in and fencing out come into play. These legal concepts help decide who is liable when animals trespass and cause damage. The reason these rules exist is rooted in how landowners and livestock owners were expected to behave in different regions. Fencing in means the owner of the animals is responsible for keeping their livestock contained. If animals escape and damage someone else's property, the owner pays for the harm, even if the land was not fenced. This rule puts the duty on the livestock owner to prevent their animals from wandering off. It was common in areas where farms and ranches were close together, and animals needed to be kept in to avoid trouble. On the other hand, fencing out places the responsibility on landowners to build fences around their property to keep trespassing animals away. If a landowner fails to fence properly and animals wander in and cause damage, they usually cannot claim compensation from the animal owner. This rule assumes animals are free to roam unless landowners take steps to exclude them. These two rules developed based on local land use and economic interests. In open-range areas where animals could roam freely, fencing out was the norm. Farmers had to build fences around their crops or land to keep animals away. In more settled regions, fencing in was common because livestock owners were expected to contain their animals. The idea of what makes a fence lawful also played a role. A lawful fence had to meet specific standards, like a certain number of wire strands, height, and spacing of posts. If a fence was poorly built or not up to code, the landowner might lose the right to claim damages if animals trespassed. Some states even created hybrid rules, where liability depended on the time of day or local customs. These rules sometimes caused disputes and even fights between farmers and ranchers. For example, under fencing out, farmers had to spend money on fences, while ranchers could let animals roam freely. Under fencing in, ranchers paid for fencing, which protected neighbors' land by default. The quirky part is how these laws evolved differently across states, leading to strange and sometimes confusing regulations. Some places made livestock owners liable only during certain hours, or required specific types of fences to qualify for damages. These rules reflected how communities tried to balance the interests of landowners and animal owners. So, the reason fencing in versus fencing out applied to trespassing animals is all about who was expected to prevent the animals from causing trouble. It depended on local land use, economic priorities, and community norms. These laws created a patchwork of rules that could seem odd today but made sense at the time. They show how communities tried to manage the challenge of animals wandering onto others' property, often with rules that could be quite peculiar.